microphones if you need them. They are over in the corner there. You can get simultaneous translation, which I'm going to need as well because I don't speak Arabic myself. We're going to start, though, with Jillian C. Yorkers from the Harvard Berkman Center, and she's going to be speaking on internet censorship. We're going to hear 5 minutes or so from each guest and then a panel discussion. So, Jillian, come on up. You can come up here. And, yeah.
There we go. Okay, excellent. Yes, so I am Jillian York from the Berkman Center for Internet and Society, and I work on a number of projects there, including the Opennet Initiative, which I'm going to talk about just a little bit, and Herdict, which is a crowdsourcing project to get reports of internet censorship in different countries. So there are multiple levels of censorship online. I'm only going to touch on a couple of points, and my main focus is this region. So if I tend to focus a little bit more on the Middle East and North Africa, that's the reason, not out of some American bias. So, the Opennet Initiative was founded in 2002. And recently, we did an estimate that found that approximately 32% of the world's internet users are living under internet filtering by governments. So 32% of the people who are using the internet are using a filtered version of it at the government level. There are a number of countries that do filter at the government level. I'm sure you all have heard about China and Iran, because those are the two that are talked about the most in the media. But there are a number of others. In this region, you've got political filtering in certain countries, social filtering in others, a combination of the two in others. And in the West, you've got filtering regimes that are starting to happen. I'm sure you've heard Australia has been looking to institute filtering for child abuse sites and pornography, but it looks like they might take it a little bit farther. Ireland has considered it. New Zealand has considered it. A number of countries in Europe do filter for certain types of pornography. In the United States, we have a little bit of filtering at the library level, at the government level, but the US government usually tends to focus more on takedowns rather than filtering, which is another way of handling unwanted sites. An example that's been in the news in the past couple of days is Pakistan. There was a group on Facebook that advocated for drawing cartoons of the Prophet. And in reaction to that, there had been other groups on Facebook advocating for boycotting Facebook. The Pakistani government had wanted to block just the page, as two other governments have done. I believe it was the UAE and Saudi. Okay, have both blocked just that individual Facebook page, which is technologically possible and probably preferable. But Pakistan took it a step further and blocked not only the entire Facebook platform, but also Twitter, YouTube, and a few other sites, some of which have been unblocked since then. The other couple of things that I wanted to talk about, because I know I've only got a couple of minutes, are corporate filtering. And what I mean by that is US companies mostly. You've got Bing, a search engine, which on their own accord decided to block certain search keywords in the Middle East and North Africa. They also do it in Indonesia, Turkey, China, and a few other countries. We don't know, because they're not transparent about it, whether or not they've been asked to do so by governments, but we know that they are filtering certain keyword searches, political ones and social ones. Facebook also has taken down groups and profiles of activists, sometimes without any explanation at all. And YouTube, although in recent months they've been really transparent in trying to sort of provide a really good appeals process for people whose content has been removed, but YouTube has in the past also removed certain activist content. So have other sites. Those are just a few examples. And then the last part that I wanted to point out, and I don't see our representative from the State Department, unfortunately, but is filtering, reverse filtering. So there's a couple different ways that this can happen. What I mean by reverse filtering is rather than the filtering coming from your government, it's coming from a different government for whatever reason, or from the site itself, rather. One case, of course, is copyright. If you're in Qatar, you probably cannot see Hulu, right? Because it's a copyright issue, it's based in the US. You could try to get around that, but another issue is US export controls, sanctions. Recently, the US backed down a little bit on some of them, coming from the Treasury Department, which was Iran, Sudan, Cuba. What? No. It wasn't North Korea, but I can't remember. maybe it was, backed down a little bit on those, saying that they would loosen the restrictions and allow certain communications tools to be accessible in those countries. They forgot one country, that's Syria. It's a separate department, it's the Commerce Department, also part of the Department of State, I believe, but nevertheless, certain websites are still blocked for Syrian users, including things like Google Chrome, MSN Messenger, Adobe products. Some things that are just sort of things that we take for granted as part of our everyday internet lives, blocked because of these export controls. So just a few examples, and I will move on to our next panelist.
Jillian, thank you for that.